My name is Nancy Stanlick. I'm one of the Associate Deans in the College of Arts and Humanities and the Associate Dean for Research. And I wanted to thank everybody for joining and participating in this first session of the College of Arts and Humanities seminar series. We've carefully thought through and consulted with our presenters regarding the value and impact of the seminars. And with them, we wish to provide research and teaching in the arts and humanities in an entertaining and informative format. We're hopeful that the topics and the subject areas and teaching and research in the academic and creative areas being presented will pique your interest and increase your participation in our work. Invite your friends to come to the virtual seminars, both this one and the ones coming up. We have 4 more after this one so far, and we plan to have more into the future. They range from Judaic Studies, which is today's topic, to intercultural communication and language acquisition with Alla Karova from Modern Languages and Literatures, to the work of our Center for Humanities and Digital Research. I see that Bruce Jans, who is its director, is here. UCF's new Center for Ethics, which is directed by Jonathan Beaver. Create at the downtown campus, which is directed by Stella Sung, and beyond. The summer series revolves around issues of intercultural communication and cooperation through quality information, and many of our presentations touch on issues of social justice. Today's talk via Zoom will be structured as follows. First, the presentation will be about 30 minutes. We'll hold 10 to 15 minutes at the end for questions. Attendees' videos and microphones are set to off, and we ask that you respect that throughout the talk. Disruptions can't be tolerated because it would interfere with the presenter's information and would cause immediate removal from the event. If you have any questions or comments, please type those for the speaker in the chat box, and the moderator will ask your questions at the end of the presentation, and I'm the moderator. Today's presentation will be posted on the college's YouTube account and shared at ka.ucf.edu/seminars. Thank you all for joining us for today's presentation, and I'll now turn it over to Ken Hanson, who is the presenter for today on issues regarding Judaic Studies and his videos and programs regarding that particular element of his academic area. So there you go.
Well, thank you, Nancy. Welcome to all of you who are dropping in this afternoon via Zoom. As you heard, I'm Ken Hanson, and today I want to share a Zoom conversation of my own that I had with my video editor, Milos Ajdanovic, originally from Serbia and who now teaches at UCF, who has supplied really all of the brilliant editing that's gone into my own educational videos. So this is basically what we're calling an editor's cut, where I'm sharing several of our video productions and talking with Milos about the whole creative process. It's about half an hour long, will not bore you, and I want to run it and then field some questions. So let us charge into it. I'm Ken Hanson. I'm the coordinator of the UCF Judaic Studies program. I've been teaching at UCF for quite a few years now, and find myself in the very happy position of being able now to direct the whole Judaic Studies program as part of the history program. Now, some years ago, actually it was 2015, that it was put to me that students really these days want to take more and more online courses. It was presented to me that I needed to go through the IDL course, learn how to teach online so that we can appeal to more of our undergraduate students who take our programs, who might have conflicts with other classes, other courses, and might otherwise not enroll for a Judaic Studies course. I thought at the time, this could well be, for me, a career killer. After all, why did I get into teaching? Because I like to sit behind a computer terminal? No, I like to stand in front of real live students, flesh and blood, and stand up and talk and interact and use the board and show them my own images on the screen that I've created and create a whole world in the classroom. I can't do that anymore. because our enrollments are going down, because students want online courses. I said, no, no, no. I went through the IDL program in any case to learn how to teach online. And part of it involved showing the attendees the amazing CDL television facility. It's incredible. Now, I happen to have a bit of a background in television before I got into academe. I did a master's degree in television and international intercultural communication. I actually worked for a time in a war zone in Lebanon during the Lebanese war. So I was intrigued, to say the least, when I looked at that TV studio. Amazing green screen. Actually, it's a green wall and cameras with teleprompter. And I thought to myself, maybe I could do something that is really unique, that is really special. Perhaps it hasn't been fully done before, which is to record my lectures that I used to give in class, but now turn them into video episodes, a la History Channel. Well, I got with my instructional designer, I got with the videographers over at CDL, and I went in and started doing it and came up with something that I thought and still think is really unique. I remember to myself when I was an undergraduate student and a history major, wouldn't it be incredible if I had some of the lectures that my old professors used to give? I remember one professor in particular of American history, Professor Thornton, who used to stand at the in a lecture hall at the University of Illinois, where I studied, stand in front of a packed lecture hall, and he would make an observation, and he would end up saying, "How extraordinary! How extraordinary!" And I remember those words. I remember him talking about how President Jefferson used to walk back and forth in the middle of the night in the White House because he was so disturbed about the Louisiana Purchase, and could he do it? Did he have the authority to do it? What I would give to have those lectures. And I thought to myself, we can create lectures that students could actually keep, review, study, even for tests and quizzes. My goodness, how many students basically tune out during a live lecture? This is a common experience. But I thought, now online, we can actually quiz our students about our video lectures. And the retention of what we say in class now on video is going to be way higher than it ever was before, because students can stop their video, they can watch it again and again. And I've had students that tell me they do exactly this. And the feedback I've gotten from my students is really heartening, to say the least. So I'm going to show a little video promo that CDL put together to illustrate the process of creating online educational experiences. Here we go. As a young man, I went to Israel and I got the bug. Judaic Studies is an amazing field within the humanities. Here we investigate the whole of at least Western civilization and thought and culture through the eyes of one particular people.
Ken has been coming here for a couple of years, doing videos for the different courses within the Jewish Studies program.
We have a product, it's knowledge. And as with any other product, you have to sell your consumer. And how do you do that? You create a memorable experience.
אראנו ולא אתה, אשורנו ולא קרוב, דרך כוכב מיעקב, וקם שבץ מישראל.
We want to develop a pilot episode for a course on biblical archaeology that can really turn into a whole series, as has never been done before.
all the students that are coming in now, they're already used to that kind of information through YouTube, through Facebook. Anybody who's not presenting their material with at least some video in it, is not keeping up with what the students want.
We can develop a prototype for what can be done across the educational platform, and to do it theatrically, to do it professionally, and make this available not just for our students in the university, but to the general public. That's an amazing goal, and that's what we're after. We want to create long-term education, and that comes from, hey, remembering what you studied.
Okay, and I'm here today with my good friend and now colleague, Milos Aydinovic, who's been working with me from the beginning of this process. The thing about CDL is that while they have the most amazing studio, television studio, they have edit bays, they have an incredible staff, but to do the kind of work that I just displayed with that level of editing for our students, that was frankly more than CDL was able to manage. So the College of Arts and Humanities, KA, did a wonderful service by finding Milos, who's here with me today, at the time a graduate student in the film school, and he was able to take on this project with a bit of a stipend from KA, and just did yeoman's work. He really took what I produced in front of a green screen with a teleprompter and a script and turned it into really professional quality, almost History Channel quality video. How did you do that, Milos? How did you go about taking green screen? What do you have to do?
I think I started working on it in 2016, and I was a student. I was in my second year. I was preparing my my thesis project, which was a feature film, and I was taking classes. So you can imagine I've had really, a lot of work ahead of me. And then, you and I talked, and I agreed to start working on.
I hired you immediately.
You hired me, and then, as you said, it's basically you would send me raw material, like your performance in front of a green screen, and I think what we had arranged was that every Monday, right? Every Monday morning, you had to upload basically an episode of your course, and then so for me it became, what happened was I would take the weekend, I would do it over the weekend, and so to tell you the truth, honestly, if you ask me now, how did you do it, I really don't know, because it's kind of it was a very, fast-paced process of taking out the green. It's mostly technical stuff, but
there's a lot to that. You had to replace the green screen with a whole host of images. And then you even added a musical background underneath all of that.
Yes, I would do what I would say, the entire post-production on the material that you provided, and do it very quickly in a very kind of a fast-paced way to get to get to that deadline on Monday. And it was an interesting experience. It was really, really amazing. I will say it really it really helped me get up to a very nice level of working with different kinds of software, and because there was just no time. You had to really quickly make.
So this was really part of your professional development.
Yeah, definitely.
At a practical level, absolutely.
I really enjoyed you being so open and experimental about things, and and then
experimental is a good word. I happen to have a little bit of acting background as well, and I thought to myself, why not just because I'm in the academic world, does that mean that we take all of our experiences from before and just to chuck them because now we're academics? In the end, I also had a vision of wanting to share what we produced with the world out there. So even beyond placing all the video into Canvas, I created a YouTube channel called Treasures in Time. And anybody can go onto this YouTube channel now and literally watch what we produced for our students. I'm going to see if I can share that. Here we go. Here's my YouTube channel, Treasures in Time. Look, we have over 2,000 subscribers, and look at all the courses that Milos has edited. We have 6 courses altogether. We won't even fit all on the same page. There's the Holocaust Project, Ancient Israel. We have a course that we call it at UCF, we call the Jewish View of Jesus. On YouTube, I call it Kosher Jesus. The most recent we've done is a course on the biblical prophets. Now, when this started, the first course I actually did was the history of the Holocaust, which is a very popular and well-attended course at UCF, always has been face-to-face. But even there, our numbers started dwindling when the demand for online really peaked. So rather than just coming in and doing a straight lecture in front of the cameras, I thought, well, we've got some characters in the Holocaust that we could actually portray. So here's one of the first such characters I actually impersonated. This is a ghetto fighter named Abba Kovner. In the Nazi ghetto.
But what are we to do in our sick souls? We bear not only the vision of the past, but also that of the future. And we feel with all our senses the breath of the approaching slaughtering knife. The knife which lies in ambush in every corner, on every path and highway of Europe. The new knife was born on the fields of Majdanek, Ponar, and Treblinka, where millions of the masses of tens of nations saw how it was done, so easily, so simply, and so quietly.
And the videographer over at CDL said, you know, we could really do a lot with this kind of stuff. And we did. So here's another example of something more recent that we produced. If I can find it on screen share. Now, Milos recut the entire series that we did on the history of the Holocaust.
We're accustomed to looking at the Holocaust through the lens of the victims, millions of them. But we can't really understand the terrible events that took place without considering the motives of the perpetrators. When did the final solution actually take shape? Can we pinpoint the exact moment in which Hitler's madness was transformed from wild rhetorical flourishes to serious design? One thing is clear: nothing was set in stone. Even well into
And that's the theme of the
Nazi
episode,
era,
that things didn't have to go the way they did. But
the
look
Nazis
at the
well understood.
quality
don't
of
rule
what Miloš has done, where
with
he's actually
terror.
weaved in
You have to have your
film
own people
from the
squarely
Holocaust
behind
era.
you.
These are the kind
In
of things
fact,
that we could
we have to be
never
careful
do
about
in
saying
a
that
traditional
the
classroom.
Germans and other
We've
peoples were
taken
under the Nazis.
the teaching
In reality,
experience, I think, to a whole new
consented.
level. So here's Martin Niemöller,
we have
one of
no more
the
thought of using our own powers
one of the
to escape the arms
Protestant
of the authority.
ministers who actually stood up to the Nazis and was persecuted for it.
No more are we ready.
So I decided to do a little bit of
silent
acting
at man's behest.
and act
When
out
God,
the actual
commands us to
sermon that he
speak.
gave in his church prior to being
for it
arrested
is
by the
and
Nazis.
must remain the case that we must obey God rather than man.
And then he's put in prison.
And for taking collections and sentenced to 7 months imprisonment. But I was released on time served. Schwartz, he sees everything black.
So this is the kind of work
By
that
a warning
we did
about the
as a collaborative
consequences of
effort.
not opposing tyranny.
I
That's the
would
first
record in front of a
difference
green
that's
screen
rising.
with a full script and teleprompter,
I am
and Miloš would do the rest. Really amazing
On
stuff.
November 5th, 19...
Now, I wanted to show just a few more video samples. This is from our archaeology course. Can we see this?
Yes, we see it.
Full course on biblical archaeology, which is now one of our best attended courses in our program. We've had a wait list to get into this course. And this is the episode on King David. So every week the students get a new episode. In this case, it's a good 35 minutes long. So they're watching a TV show, Untold Stories of Biblical Archaeology, digging up David. And every week was a new digging up somebody.
Jerusalem in the 21st century. The flashpoint.
And here's
of
my Indiana
geopolitics today,
Jones
as it has
channeling
been from
Harrison
time
Ford right
immemorial.
here.
So united under Israeli rule since 1967, the facts on the ground are nonetheless evidence of 2 Jerusalems, one Jewish, one Arab. It is
So we scrubbed through this and look at just how detailed it is. Here's a famous
this indeed had
American
been
scholar
the
and
splendid
archaeologist.
capital of David and Solomon, in honor of which Hebrew poets and prophets
Albright,
poured forth their
the
inspired
renowned
strains,
William Foxwell
where the
Albright.
God of Israel was set.
And I love doing Sherlock.
It's another medieval structure, which before Israel's 1948 War of Independence was a mosque. And before that,
And my
a
idea
church.
has
At
been
the time of King
that
David, the hill now known
rather
as
than
Mount
just
Zion
trying
was
to convey
an
information,
uninhabited area
the most
far
important thing is
outside
to
the
raise
city walls.
issues.
The real Mount
So I
Zion.
bring in Sherlock, my detective, and he will ask the questions. He will raise the academic issues
That's where the real David would have been.
that don't
buried
have a simple answer.
if he existed at all.
If David existed at all. Oh yes, here's
On all fours, as we saw bits of cabbage stalks floating
British
by, we
archaeologists from the
realized
19th
that the
century
waters
exploring the
started to
underground
rise.
water channel in
There I
ancient
was,
Jerusalem.
with a pencil, compass, and field book in my hands, and the candle, for the most part, in my mouth.
Sir Charles Warren.
My
There he
companion and
is.
I had just 4 inches of breathing.
Again, the kind of things we could never do in a traditional classroom. But I wanted to go right to the end and share just a little bit from a modern Israeli poet who wrote about Jerusalem and what's at stake in terms of the archaeology. And I did it in Hebrew. And here's another thing we could rarely do at a classroom setting, speak the original languages with subtitles. And Milosh actually did the subtitles. This is Yehuda Amichai.
The late Yehuda Amichai summed it up. ירושלים היא כמו העיר אטלנטיס, שטבעה בים, הכל טבע בה ושקעה בה. זו ירושלים של מטה, מן המטה, ומן הקרקעית, מעלים כתלים חרבים, ושברי דתות, כמו כלים, מאוניות נבואה שטבעו, מכוסי חלודה. זו לא חלודה, זה דם שלא יבש מעולם.
Very artful, Milosh. And you actually had to figure out, and you don't speak Hebrew, but you had to figure out from the pacing where the subtitles went, right?
Yeah, it's a very interesting subtitling language that you don't actually speak.
We've yet moved to a new project. A little over a year ago, I received a grant through our Arts and Humanities that was actually earmarked for video production. It's a $5,000 grant, modest, but at least something. And I'd also received $2,500 through CDL for doing a course redesign, including video, obviously. And that gave us a grand total of $7,500. What can you do with $7,500 in terms of creating a video documentary? Well, we went all the way to Israel, drove all across Israel, and we, on that sum, actually shot a half-hour documentary about the Israeli Druze. This is a small little sect that broke away from Islam centuries ago, and they live in northern Israel and in Galilee. And the majority of them are actually full citizens of Israel, and they serve in the Israeli army. And with another UCF student helping us out, we shot the whole thing, came back, Milosh edited it, and he has just now completed the documentary. It's a half-hour documentary that we can use in our Judaic Studies program, but we want to see how we can get it out there, even beyond UCF. Certainly it'll be on our website, but here we go. Here's the beginning of what Milosh just now edited, completed, on the Druze. On location, beautiful scenery. Milosh shot it all.
They are not Jews and they are not Muslim. They are known as the Druze. They are an ethnic and religious minority at the very heart of the multiple dilemmas faced by the modern state of Israel as it struggles to be a Jewish nation while at the same time democratic and diverse.
Now, we had to do this obviously on a shoestring, but it looks absolutely gorgeous. I had tried to contact some prominent members of the Druze community from the United States without any luck at all. So we went to Israel and just gave it a shot to see who we could find. What do you call this, Milosh? We call ourselves guerrilla.
It was definitely guerrilla filmmaking.
Yeah, guerrilla filmmaking. We didn't know exactly what we were doing even, but we got to the country, rented a car, just started driving. We knew where the Druze village was. This is the mayor of the Druze village. Actually, it started at a little restaurant in the village, Daliat El Carmel. We went to a restaurant, and in Israel, everybody seems to know everybody. And the restaurateur just happened to know, here's the restaurateur.
I'm a Druze man. I live in Dalat El Carmel, the biggest village, Druze village in Israel. I am the owner of this restaurant named Hummus Najwa. You are invited.
You're invited, yes. Little commercial there. But the restaurateur just happened to know the mayor of the town. Introduced us, here's the mayor. So now we got an interview with the mayor of the Druze village. And the mayor also knew a prominent Israeli general, a general in the Israel Defense Force named Amal Assad, who has actually been very much in the Israeli news in the last year, having to do with a certain political issue and a law that was passed in Israel that the Druze did not like. And the chance that I could find this general, I thought were not very high when we went to the country, but sure enough, the mayor introduced us.
I'm an art researcher.
So here's our director's cut of the video, of the documentary.
In the last 3 years,
And Milos, what can you
my
add to all this process of editing?
Yes, well, I mean, you already kind of covered most of it. You know, it was a shoestring budget. It was very, it was working with very limited resources, but I think that also, like, working in this way gives a little bit of some kind of like a raw quality to what you're filming, to the entire documentary. I think it works really nice if the process is simplified. Could be used, you know, as a. I really believe it could be used as an educational tool. You know, that it brings something. If you bring the camera. And then kind of like use it to approach this culture. It really brings out something very interesting, and I think we were able to use it in a very nice way and make something that's very watchable.
Watchable, instructional, educational. Here's my barber, Monir, who's Druze, and yet he wears a Star of David around his neck because he's a proud Israeli citizen.
The 5 stripes on the Druze flag signify the.
So we went all over, actually several Druze villages, and here's a museum, the Druze Museum in another little town in Galilee.
Also from secular Druze. Only religious people are allowed to read in the holy books. As for the sacred texts of the
Druze Culture Museum. And here is General Amal Assad,
as a commander,
a major figure in today's Israel.
Brigadier General at 1999.
He also became head of the civil administration unit of the IDF, in charge of civilian relations with the Palestinian Authority.
I spent three years in that job, and we did a very good job. I mean, the army, and I even didn't get only even one stone in my car when I patrolled there, because the people wanted to have their respect, their honor, and this is what we did. We fought with the terrorists, but we gave the rest of the people, their honors.
So it's really a pleasure to see what we were able to do on a shoestring budget, and hopefully we can be an inspiration to others who want to follow in our footsteps. This is the actual border. You're looking into Syria. Israel is in the foreground. Syria is the background. There's the border fence. So we're very much talking about contemporary situations, cultural and, yes, political. Here's the Israeli Knesset, the parliament.
Where, of course, laws are enacted. It's important to point out that Israel is extremely proud of the relations it has cultivated with its minorities, and especially the Druze.
It is slow, especially.
So, Milos, anything else to add about the documentary?
Well, I hope people like it.
Hope people like it. Well, that's a very good aspiration. We would like to produce additional documentary videos, and we prove that we can actually go internationally, that we can shoot on site, we can edit well, make a product that really looks professional, that's very viewable. And we are, of course, trailblazing. One final thing that I've done recently is to produce some sit-down interviews with our two local rabbis in the Jewish community who serve UCF students. Rabbi Abisror, Yisrael Abisror of UCF Hillel. And here we have just a little intro into that sit-down interview, edited by CDL, and they've done a very nice job in creating an intro. We're calling it the Jewish Wisdom Series. So I have a whole number of these sit-down interviews planned for the future, going forward.
The University of Central Florida Judaic Studies program, and I'm very pleased to be here today with my friend and associate who also teaches for our program, Rabbi Yisrael Abisror, who is the Yehudi rabbi at UCF Hillel, Hillel being the Jewish student organization here on campus. And we're going to talk today about basic aspects of Jewish life here in the United States. But first, I want to get to what your position is, what you do here at the University of Central Florida, a little bit about your own background and how you relate and interact with UCF students.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Hanson. So my name is Rabbi Yisrael Abisror. I'm the Yehudi rabbi at Hillel, as well as the director of Yehudi Orlando. I'm also an adjunct professor for the Judaic Studies program. A truly Jewish and equally college experience while they're here at the University of Central Florida.
And one more, here's the second episode that we recorded just prior to the pandemic with Rabbi Chaim Lipsker of UCF Chabad. So we have two Jewish organizations at UCF. We have Hillel and Chabad. And here's our other rabbi who also teaches for us.
I'm Dr. Kenneth Hanson, coordinator of the University of Central Florida Judaic Studies program. And I'm here today with my good friend and colleague, Rabbi Chaim Lipsker of UCF Chabad. And we're going to talk today about this really incredible organization, Chabad Lubavitch, which happens to be the largest organization of Hasidic Jews in the world today. We're going to talk about what Chabad is, how it began. We're going to talk about the role of Chabad as representative of Orthodox Jews in the American Jewish community and in the world. And we're going to go all the way back to the very beginnings of this movement in the 1700s.
That has representatives all over the world.
And Rabbi Lipsker is also teaching in our program. So these kind of videos, about 30 minutes long, are also quite usable in our Judaic Studies courses, and beyond that in the YouTube channel. And who knows where else, but
bring Judaism to every
again, this is something we can do for our students and for the community at large in creating dynamic video presentations that have really not been utilized to the full in a university environment. And we're hoping that we're going to remain on the cutting edge thanks to editors like Milos. So thank you again very much, Milos, for all the work that you have done. Thanks to UCF College of Arts and Humanities, and as we say in Hebrew, Kadima, onward.
Hi, everybody. If anybody has any questions for Ken, you can use the chat function here in Zoom. If you don't see it at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a little icon or a word at the bottom that says more with 3 dots. Click on that and it'll open up your chat screen. Right now, I have one question so far and a couple of comments. One of the questions, the very first one that came in, was to ask Ken whether he had any difficulties with copyright issues on the images that he's used in his videos, or did he use Creative Commons images or images from a similar site?
Very tricky and difficult issue, in fact. That's actually the reason that we recut the entire Holocaust series. The first time that we created it was just with random images, but then I asked Milos to go back and do the whole thing over again from Creative Commons. So yeah, we have indeed addressed that. But then there's also the question of what is fair use. We're not charging anybody for these images. We're not making any money off of them. So that's another issue. And I've talked to several representatives, including legal representatives from UCF. And it's really a muddy kind of issue, to be honest. When I did the archaeology course as a video series, I deliberately searched for images that seemed to be free and open, but it's fuzzy. I haven't had any complaints from any source whatsoever. The bottom line is, if I get any complaints for anybody who doesn't like my use of their image, or one slipped by, whatever, then I would be obliged to take it down or take the video down or recut it, but one step at a time.
Okay, we have another question that just came in. And what that one is from Bruce, and it is, have you done user or student studies? Hang on there a second. I just had a notification over the top of my screen to get a sense as to whether or how much the video approach enhances learning.
We actually did a research project on this, in fact, and published the results. And I did an academic presentation at a conference on this entire question, surveying students rather, and asking them specific questions about their integration of the video material into their own learning process, how much it helped, how many times they watched them, did they take notes, on and on. And I worked hand in glove with Chuck Jubin's office to frame these questions and collect the responses and to present serious research. And the bottom line is that the feedback has been really stellar, and a lot of student response saying, yes, we love this, we have used this, this is extremely helpful to our learning process.
What actions do you suggest people take? I mean, one of the ones that I can think of right off is register for some of these courses that you offer for credit and watch the videos and learn more of the valuable information. That's my take.
You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. I have over 2,000 subscribers now, and I decided from the beginning that I want to make this public. Why not? It has not reduced our enrollments. Of course, students want to take the course, they want credit for the course. But this has really enlarged our profile for the general community. And of course, worldwide, people can subscribe to my channel, and they do. So this is something that I would encourage anybody who, we've got, what, 6 courses now? Just, jump into YouTube. All you have to do is go to YouTube, type in my name, and it'll take you right to the channel, and subscribe and maybe give a thumbs up, like you do on YouTube. But beyond that, there's so much creative work that can be done now with YouTube, even just for an online course. If you happen to teach, just plug in your laptop and start a video for your students. And yes, YouTube, there are so many YouTubers out there now. It's a real phenomenon. And people can create their own video, whether it's professionally edited or not, just to share ideas, thoughts, intellectual ideas. Why not? I mean, it's a whole new world and we're discovering this more and more now that the pandemic has forced us into it. I say, let's take advantage of it.
I have another question, and that is, do you find that students need support with understanding the geography, topography?
Include maps whenever relevant.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's part of it. I make sure that we do. And geography is a real issue, especially nowadays, when, I don't know if I should mention, but I understand there was a survey done of young university students that indicated that, in fact, the majority could not identify the difference between Israel and Spain on a map. So we have to take into consideration where our students are coming from and make adjustments. So that's why we have to integrate maps wherever possible.
Well, thank you for the presentation.